It's Christmas Eve in snowy 1800s London, England, and in a small house at the edge of town there lived a lonely 7-year-old boy named Isaac. Isaac was a sad child with not a friend to his name. While most children were spending time with their families and eagerly looking forward to opening the presents that were placed with care beneath the beautifully decorated Christmas tree, little Isaac spent the most holy of nights alone in his cold, dusty attic room. Isaac's parents were very poor. His mother was a strict crow of a woman who stayed at home and schooled Isaac. His father worked long hours down at the London harbour to support his family, although a large portion of his earnings went towards purchasing and consuming copious amounts of alcohol at the end of each shift. Sometimes he would come home drunk after being thrown out of every bar in London and shout at his beloved wife, Isaac's mother. Occasionally, it would escalate to violence, and he would beat her savagely. Then when he was done, he'd force himself upon her in a drunken sexual rage. As it so happens, this particular night was one of those occasions. Isaac just remained quiet, quivering beneath his soiled bedsheets until the screams and loud bangs subsided. Once poor frightened Isaac was finally able to fall asleep, he'd dream of what it would be like to have a friend to play with. So maybe he could laugh and be happy like the other children of London. Luckily for little Isaac, this Christmas Eve marked a big change. When his abysmal loneliness caught the attention of a guardian angel, who then crafted a very special gift for the sad little London boy. As the sun rose on that Christmas morning, Isaac opened his eyes to find a strange wooden box sitting at the foot of his bed. With eyes widened in awe, he stared at the colorful handcrafted box, wondering who left it. He was not used to receiving gifts, especially toys. What little toys Isaac did have were ones that he'd found abandoned in the streets or washed up in the gutters. Isaac scooted up to the foot of his bed in front of the mysterious box and picked it up with both hands. The box was beautifully painted in colorful styles, with carvings of happy clown faces on each side. There was a tag on the box that simply read, "For Isaac." On the top of the box was an engraved text. Isaac squinted his eyes as he sounded out the words. Laughing Jack in a box? He paused. Laughing Jack in a box? Isaac had heard of a jack-in-the-box, but never a laughing jack-in-a-box. His mind spun with curiosity as he grasped the box's metal crank. Isaac turned the crank, and the song "Pop Goes the Weasel" chimed in rhythm with the crank's gyrations. As the song came to the climax, Isaac sang along with the final verse. "Pop goes the weasel." But nothing happened. Isaac let out a sigh. "It's broken." He placed the box back down on the edge of the bed and shuffled across his small dusty room to his dresser, where he changed out of his soiled sleepwear into his usual tattered clothes. Suddenly, Isaac heard a loud rattling noise coming from the bed behind him. He swung around to witness the wooden box violently shaking. Then, without warning, the top of the box swung open and a parade of colorful smoke and confetti bellowed out. Isaac rubbed his eyes in disbelief of what he was seeing. As the smoke cleared, there stood a tall, thin, multicolored clown man, with bright red hair, a swirly rainbow-colored cone nose, and feathery shoulders that sat atop a raggedy and colorful clown outfit. The Technicolor clown spread his arms and excitedly announced,
"Come one, come all, whether big or small, to see the best clown of them all, the one, the only, Laughing Jack-in-a-Box."
Isaac's eyes lit up. Who are you?" he asked. The colorful carny stepped down off the bed and with a happy grin said,
"I'm glad you asked. I am Laughing Jack, your new friend for life. I'm magical, I never get tired of playing, I'm a whiz at the accordion, and I adapt and develop with your own changing personality. In other words, whatever you like, I like."
Isaac looked up at the mysterious clown man.
We're friends?"
he stuttered. Jack looked at the boy while cocking an eyebrow.
Friends? We're best friends. I was specially created to be your not-so-imaginary friend, Isaac.
Isaac's jaw dropped. You know my name? Jack let out a whimsical laugh.
Of course I know your name. I know everything about you. So, now that the introductions are out of the way, how would you like to play a game of I Spy?
Isaac grinned from ear to ear. Really? We can play games? I'd love to. He paused. I can't. I have to go downstairs to see Mother for homeschooling and chores. His smile faded into a look of disappointment. Jack placed a hand on Isaac's shoulder and with a warm smile said,
It's okay. I'll be waiting right here for when you get back.
Isaac's smile returned as he looked up to his new friend. Just then, he heard his mother's shrill voice calling for him from downstairs. Well, I gotta go. I'll see you after I'm done, okay, Jack? He said as he headed towards the door. Jack smiled.
Absolutely, kiddo. Oh, and Isaac.
Isaac looked back at Jack, who gave him a wink and said,
You should wear that smile more often. It suits you.
Isaac grinned happily as he turned and walked out the door. All day, Isaac told his mother about the amazing, colorful clown man who came out of a magical box that appeared at the foot of his bed. His mother, however, did not believe a word of it. Finally, he persuaded his mother to follow him up to his room so she could behold Laughing Jack for herself. They walked up the stairs and Isaac swung open the door to his room. See, Mother? He's right here. Isaac paused as he scanned the room that contained neither magical dancing clown man nor mysterious wooden box. Isaac's mother was not amused. She gave Isaac a glare so menacing it made his knees weak and his stomach sick. But, Mother, he was... Smack! Isaac's mother delivered unto him a swift, hard smack across his face. His eyes began to tear up, and his lip began to quiver as he could feel himself about to break down. You stupid, insolent child! How dare you lie to me about such childish idiocy? Who would want to be a friend with a useless worm such as you? You shall remain in this room for the rest of the evening, and shall receive no dinner. Now, what do you have to say, you ungrateful wretch? Isaac managed to swallow the knot in his throat in order to mutter a reply. Thank you, Mum. His mother glared down at him for a moment before leaving the room in disgust. Isaac kneeled over, burying his face in the side of his bed. Streams of tears ran down his cheeks as he began to weep.
What's wrong, kiddo?
A voice called out. Isaac looked over the edge of the bed, where Laughing Jack was now suddenly sitting beside him. Where were you? Isaac murmured. Jack ran his hand through Isaac's hair to comfort him as he softly replied,
I was hiding. I can't let your parents see me, otherwise they won't let us play anymore.
Isaac wiped the tears from his eyes.
Look, kiddo, I'm sorry I had to hide, but I'll make it up to you. Because tonight we can play games and have tons of fun.
Jack said while smiling. Isaac looked up at his vibrant pal and silently nodded, as a little smile began to form in the corners of his mouth. That night, Laughing Jack and Isaac played so many fun games. With a wave of his hand, Jack made all of Isaac's tin soldiers spring to life and march around the room. Isaac was amazed as he watched the toys move around the room on their own. Then Laughing Jack and Isaac told each other spooky ghost stories. Isaac asked Jack if he was a ghost, but Jack explained that he was more of a cosmic entity of sorts. At the end of the night, Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out an assortment of delicious candy. Isaac was in ecstasy when he popped the first colorful treat into his mouth, as it was his first time tasting something so sweet. Isaac had so much fun and laughed so hard that night that things seemed to be finally looking up for little Isaac, at least until the incident that occurred 3 months later.